Fine morning, students. I once again welcome you all for the cell biology class. Hope you have got some idea regarding the basic concepts of cell biology in our previous class. And this class we are going to study about the cytoplasm, their properties, their functions. And this comes under Unit 2. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm refers to the fluid that fills their cells. So cytoplasm is a portion which is occupied between the cell wall and nuclear membrane. So it is a highly viscous substance. So it is a semi-solid, it seems like a solution. It's a viscous substance enclosed within the cell membrane. So the area below the cell membrane and below the nuclear membrane is the cytoplasm. The living content of the protoplasm. So protoplasm is a thing which comprises nucleus as well as cytoplasm. So the living content of the protoplasm between plasma membrane and nucleus is the cytoplasm. So in the previous class we saw the basic structure of cell, that is cell wall, nucleus which is absent in prokaryotes. So the protoplasm is a thing which comprises the portion that is the portion between the cell membrane. It encompasses nucleus as well as the cytoplasm. So the living content of the protoplasm is cytoplasm. So there are a lot of definitions for cytoplasm, like cytosol with the filaments. So cytosol is nothing but the liquid portion which is seen in the cytoplasm. Cytosol with the filaments, proteins, ions, macromolecule structure as well as the organelles. So cytoplasm is a very important component of cell. There accompanies all the organelles, lot of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, etc. So the cytoplasm makes up the 9/10 of the entire cell. So when we divide the cellular components into 10, the 9 component is occupied by the cytoplasm. So these are the definitions for cytoplasm in general. Coming to the specific eukaryotic cell, the cytoplasm is restricted to the space between the nuclear membrane and the cell membrane. Whereas in the case of prokaryotes, we can define the cytoplasm that occupies the entire cell environment within the plasma membrane, since we have already seen that in prokaryotes we don't have any component called nucleus. So that's all about the brief definitions on cytoplasm. So you should be well clear that the cytoplasm is a portion between the cell membrane and nucleus. It is a living component of cell or living content of the protoplasm. It occupies all the organelles. It contains a lot of biomolecules. Next. So this is the structure of a eukaryotic cell. I have mentioned in an arrow mark that cytoplasm is a portion between the cell wall or cell membrane and the nucleus. So all the portions within the cell wall and nucleus, the portion between the nucleus and cell membrane can be defined as cytoplasm. So cytoplasm contains all the living organelles, all the active organelles of the cell. So what is the use of the cytoplasm? What is the significance of it? So whenever we are studying a concept, we should understand its significance. So the significance of cytoplasm we can study with some examples. So new discoveries, and these two are new discoveries. Yolk segregation in fish embryo. So in the development of the fish, the yolk segregation is a very important part in the development of fish embryo, and this segregation happens in the cytoplasm. So it plays an important role in the development of fish larva. So cytoplasm plays an important role in the development of fish larva. It helps or it supports in the segregation of yolk. Another important role of cytoplasm which has been recently discovered is an atypical centriole in the cytoplasm. During cell division, if there is an atypical centriole in the cytoplasm, and this has been associated with miscarriages or infertility or birth defect. So whenever during meiotic cell division is there any atypical centriole in the cytoplasm, and this may in future lead to infertility or miscarriage. It is nothing but abortion. So these are the very important recent discoveries mentioning the importance of cytoplasm. Cytoplasm plays a crucial role in the cell. And next, coming in the eukaryotic cells, most of the important metabolism like glycolysis and fatty acid oxidation, a part of the fatty acid oxidation takes place in the cytoplasm. And without cytoplasm, the cells would be deflated. So if there is no cytoplasm, there is no shape of a cell and there is no structure of a cell, and that cell cannot be protected and it will become flat, and the organelles cannot be suspended in the cytoplasm, and finally the cell will die. So the cell cytoplasm makes or it gives the life to this cell. So these are some important significance. And then coming to the structures. With regarding to the location, based on the structural location, we can classify the cytoplasm into two different layers. The one is the ectoplasm. The ectoplasm is the outer layer of a cytoplasm in a eukaryotic cell. It is non-granulated. It is less dense. It is very, very thin. It forms a superficial layer. It's an outer layer. It contains some actin filaments, and this provides an elastic support to the cell. So cell is a semi-permeable. It doesn't have a rigid shape, and this elasticity is because of the filaments, actin filaments present in the ectoplasm. So the ectoplasm is the outer layer of the cytoplasm. Next is the endoplasm. The endoplasm is the inner layer of the cytoplasm, which is located in deeper of the cell. It surrounds the nucleus. It occupies many granules. Whereas in the case of ectoplasm, it is agranular, whereas here it is granular. It contains a lot of secretory vesicle, and so it is dense in shape. And in addition to the secretory vesicles, it contains amino acids, carbohydrates, different types of biomolecules, which helps in the active functioning of the endoplasm. So the outer layer of the cytoplasm is ectoplasm, and the inner layer of the cytoplasm is endoplasm. The difference between outer and the inner layer is outer layer is less dense and the inner layer is more dense. The outer layer is non-granular, whereas the inner layer is granular, and inner layer occupies the different types of components. Next, based on the composition, the cytoplasm can be classified into 4 different components. The first one is the organelle. Cytoplasm, the majority of the cytoplasm is occupied by organelles, which is made up of multi-protein complexes. Organelles, the most important organelles include mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, so and so. And next, another important is cytoskeleton, which contains some microtubules. It helps a role in relaxation and contraction of the cell. And the last one is cytoplasmic inclusions like ribosomes. So these 3 important components will be discussed in the later units. And now we are going to see about only the cytosol. Cytosol is nothing but the dissolved solutes in solution, which can be a solution or it can be a gel. So based on the composition, it can be categorized into 4 different types: organelle, cytoskeleton, cytoplasmic inclusions, and cytosol. So coming to the cytosol. Cytosol is nothing but it's a liquid part of the cytoplasm, which we have already discussed. So it comprises 70% of water. So it is liquid in nature, and in this cytosol, all the organelles are suspended. So without the cytosol, the organelles cannot have a function. So the cytosol plays an important role in maintaining the fluidity of the organelles. And then some of the other components of cytosol include some insoluble molecules, particularly different types of proteins and ions. So coming to the ions present in the cytosol, most of the ions are charged. So coming to the characteristics of cytosol, it ranges in the pH of 7 to 7.4. Mostly it is a neutral pH and slightly alkaline. The viscosity is similar to water, and it contains some calcium ions in very lower millimolar concentrations, high amount. Once again, it contains a lot of macromolecules, and that macromolecules are highly charged. It exists in ionic form. The cytosol plays a very, very important role in signal transduction. So signal transduction, which we will see in later next unit. So signal transduction is an important process which helps in transferring the signal outside and inside cell environment. It plays a very, very important role in nerves transport. So coming to the cytosol, cytosol is a liquid portion. It is fluidity in nature. This is a very important component of cytoplasm, in which all the organelles are suspended. And once again, we have to remind that without the cytosol, the fluidity of the cell cannot be maintained. So the life of the cytoplasm and the functioning of the organelles is by means of this cytosol. Next, physical properties of cytoplasm. So cytoplasm has some unique physical properties. It is a mixture of salt and gel. It may be liquid and in the gel it is a solid. So it can flow like a solution and it is somewhat semi-solid in nature, and this gel offers resistance. It cannot have a free flow movement. It is a mixture of salt and gel, so it flows slowly and the flow is resisted by means of the gel. So it's a gel-like structure near the outer membrane, and sometimes in some portion it is non-viscous, that is soil in the interior. So the endoplasm layer it is non-viscous, whereas in the ectoplasm layer it is so sticky, and this sticky nature makes the semi-permeable nature of the cell membrane. So cytoplasm, another important, streaming and cyclic movements. So the cytoplasm is responsible for the fluidity of the cell, and that fluidity helps in the streaming and cyclic movements. The cytoplasm can move because of the nature of its gel, and it almost have a neutral pH which you have seen 7 to 7.4, and it is an ionic form. Most of the salts, particularly calcium, are present in ionic form, that is it's uncharged form. Next, elasticity, another important property. So these are the important properties of cytoplasm. Elasticity, the elasticity is cytoplasm can relax or contact to a certain limit. So it is not a rigid, the cell is not a rigid, it is semi-fluid, and this semi-fluid is maintained by means of the cytoplasm, and this relaxation is contraction is by means of the actin filaments present in the cytoplasm. And next one is cohesiveness. This cohesiveness is because of the gel nature of the cytoplasm. So this cohesiveness makes an attraction between the suspended particles in the cytoplasm. Viscosity. So even though it is a solution, the viscosity is slightly viscous in nature. It is not so viscous, but it is having a slightly viscous, which is less viscous than that of the water. Though two important properties, Brownian movement and cytoplasmic screen. So the Brownian movement is nothing but the movement of the suspended particles of the cytoplasm back and forth, to and fro. This is called as Brownian movement. The cytoplasm is filled with a lot of solutions, lot of minerals, lot of molecules, and that molecules can move now and then to and fro or back and forth, and this movement is called as Brownian movement. And next one is the cyclosis, cytoplasmic screening. So this is the movement of cytoplasm within a living cell without changing the structure of. Whereas in the case of amoeba, the pseudopodia helps in the movement by changing the shape of the living cell. Whereas in the case of this cyclosis, so cyclosis is the movement of only the cytoplasm, and there is no change in the structure of the cell wall. So all these points are some important physical properties. So the physical nature of a cell is by means of the cytoplasm. So elasticity, cohesiveness, viscosity, Brownian movement helps in the movement of particles present in the cytoplasm, and cytoplasmic streaming. For example, in the case of fatty acid synthesis, a part of the synthesis takes place in cytoplasm and part of the synthesis takes place in the endoplasmic reticulum. So the movement of the components of the metabolism is by means of the cytoplasmic screening. So cytoplasmic streaming is nothing but the movement of some molecules or some components within the cytoplasm from one position to another without moving the structure of the cell membrane. Next is the chemical properties. So we have already seen that it is made up of water, 85% is water, and remaining 10 to 15% is proteins, and lipids occupy a very smaller amount, but this lipid composition varies based on the type of the cell. So if it is an adipocyte, it contains more lipid comparable to protein, and it contains a few amounts of nucleic acid, inorganic salts, and polysaccharides also in smaller amounts. These are the chemical composition of the cytoplasm. Next, biological properties. So cytoplasm plays an important role in lot of transport. So transportation of the material from outside the cell to inside the cell, or from inside the cell to outside the cell, or from the cytoplasm to the nucleus, or from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. All this is possible only because of some transport proteins present in the cytoplasm. And the same thing, it also helps in the removal of the waste, phagocytosis, pinocytosis. So transportation of material inside and outside the cell, as well as removal of waste from the cell to the outside environment, or transport of ions, that is particularly calcium, sodium, throughout the cell membrane, is achieved by means of the cytoplasm. and shape and structure. This is a very, very important point. Without cytoplasm, the cell may not have any shape. So by exerting, that is turgidity, this is defined as turgidity. So outward pressure. By means of the components present inside the cell, it exerts an outward pressure, and that outward pressure is nothing but turgor pressure. And this outward pressure against the cell membrane is achieved by means of some cytoskeleton like actin filaments. And this pressure gives the shape and structure of the cell. So in the case if there is excess salt content inside the cell or excess salt content outside the cell, the shape will vary and the cell membrane may get burst. That is osmosis. So the osmosis by means of this pressure. So cytoplasm again contributes a general shape of the cell. So each and every cell, nerve cells, muscle cell, liver cell, they may have a different structure, and this structure is because of the cytoplasm by the pressure exerted by means of the cytoplasm. Next one is the protection. So since the cell membrane is fluidity, the cytoplasm is just like a cushion which protects the components of the cell, particularly the nucleus. So the nucleus is cushioned between the cell wall and cytoplasm. It acts as a cushion. So cytoplasm acts as a cushion and it protects the nucleus and it absorbs some shock. If there is any external shock to the cell, and this shock is absorbed by the cytoplasm, and it protects the nucleus and it protects the organelles also. And it is a barrier. It's a barrier. So the movement, semi-permeability is restricted by means of the cytoplasm. It acts as a buffer. The composition of the cytoplasm acts as a buffer and it protects the genetic material of the cell, the DNA. So it maintains an alkaline nature, and this nature supports or protects the genetic material, and it doesn't allow the genetic material to move out of the cell. Storage. Storage is some of the important property of the cytoplasm in some. It stores lipids, fat, starch, etc. And especially some cells have a large amount of storage. That is, example, adipocytes will store a lipid in large quantities. Next is site of metabolic activities. Glycolysis takes place in cytosol, fatty acid synthesis, protein synthesis. So transcription, translation, DNA synthesis and RNA synthesis takes place inside the nucleus, whereas in the case of protein synthesis takes place in the cytoplasm. So all the components which is required for the metabolic activities, the enzymes and proteins are present in the cytoplasm. So several enzymes that regulate the metabolism of glycolysis, fatty acid synthesis and protein synthesis are present inside the cytoplasm. So as a whole, we can say that cytoplasm plays an essential role in the growth, respiration, excretion, nutrition, reproduction, metabolism, irritability. So all the functions, majority of the functions inside the cell environment is under the control of cytoplasm. If all the components of the cytoplasm are regulated in a correct manner, then we can maintain the cell in a very clear, the cell will be regulated correctly. So that's all about cytoplasm. Let us conclude the class with having some practice questions. Students, are you ready with the questions? Okay, let us pass. The first question is, what type of material is present in the cytoplasm? Is it a water soluble or colloidal? So we have seen in the previous slides, the material present in the cytoplasm is nothing but colloidal. So colloidal is nothing but sol. It contains sol and gel. So the material is sol and colloidal. Next one, what is the name of the cortex of cytoplasm? So we have seen in the previous slides that the cortex, the location of the cytoplasm, two types. So either it is an ectoplasm or endoplasm. Yes, it is ectoplasm. So ectoplasm is the outer layer. Outer layer is nothing but the cortex. Where does fatty acid synthesis takes place? It takes place in the cytoplasm or endoplasmic reticulum or mitochondria. So the fatty acid synthesis takes place in the cytoplasm and endoplasmic. A part of the synthesis takes place in the endoplasmic reticulum, another part in the cytoplasm. Next, what is the charge and pH of the cytoplasm? So we have discussed that it is charged and it is neutral in pH. Then the charge is negative, more ionic, and it is neutral pH 7.4. That's all about some practice questions. So we in this class we have discussed about the physical properties of cytoplasm, chemical properties of cytoplasm, as well as the biological properties of cytoplasm. That's all about the cytoplasm. So students, you go through some books for cytoplasm, and you can discuss about the cytoplasm. For any queries you can contact me. That's all about cytoplasm.